Hello, everyone. We are with Douglas Morgan, aka the Arena Pod. I mean, on YouTube, he's called Arena Pod. He does animations for his YouTube content when it comes to Monster Jam. He is a very great animator. He is a very great commentator on his opinions about Monster Jam. So we will be interviewing him today for Let's Talk Monster Jam, episode 3. With that being said, Mr. Arena Pod, let the people know who you are.
Aloha, everyone. I'm ArenaPod. I think this is the first time you guys are actually seeing my face, like completely. And it's kind of weird, but I'll get used to it. So, you may know me for my animations and my Hawaii documentaries. If you don't, go check me out because I love them. But I do animations, and if you like that, then check me out.
Very great introduction. So, my first question to you, good sir, is what was your first experience when it came to Monster Jam?
Like my first show.
Your first show, whether it be just Monster Trucks in general or your first show when it comes to Monster Jam. Let the people know your first experience, good sir.
This is an interesting story, actually. Like, I actually talked to my parents and my mother, like, before this interview to kind of prepare and to really ask, like, how I actually did get into monster trucks. And so it all started in Tacoma. And in 2010, that was my first show, I believe. I was 2 years old. Uh, Believe it or not, my parents actually did know about the tragedy, like, the year before in 2009, like, a kid was killed. They were actually pretty hesitant about me going to that show and seeing monster trucks. And they ended up deciding for me to go anyway. And I don't remember much, but they did say that I was like clapping and all excited. That's how they said I showed excitement when I was a baby. And they ended up buying me like more toys and video games. Like I remember playing Urban Assault. All of that from the Tacoma show in 2010. That was my first ever experience with monster trucks.
So, Urban Assault, I remember seeing those commercials. Tacoma, I thought the Tacoma with the kid getting, unfortunately killed. I thought that was 2014 because the news was saying that this was 2000. I could be very wrong, but
You're
I
not very
remember
wrong.
seeing I remember seeing the clip, and they were showing like a stadium show, and I didn't know it was in 2009. You said or 2008.
It was in 2009. My parents were skeptical about me going there because they were so paranoid about it. Like it was huge news, not just over there, but like across the whole industry because nothing like that had happened.
What was the incident? That was the one with the sprocket just launched from the truck from the middle of the floor, right, and just flew into the stands, or was that a different incident I'm thinking about?
I think it might be the same thing. I don't remember what part it was that flew off of that truck, but it was like a tiny piece, like a tiny metal piece that was like I think the size of a dollar bill.
$1. Oh my! I didn't even know how big. Okay, this is me
Right in the
learning.
head. Right in the head right here, I
Ooh,
think.
God damn!
That killed him.
I always heard it was a sprocket, and I thought it was in 2014. And I know when it comes to trucks, I think a lot of people think that it's debris from cars and stuff from the actual field that injures people. But the biggest danger on that floor is unfortunately the things we come to see and love, which is the monster trucks. And it's kind of sad that you go to a show. Hey, I want to go see these trucks, man. They're loud, they're fast, they're jumping over dirt, jumping over cars, and then you just take your family over there. I get why I get why your parents are very hesitant because it's like it's an innocent show, It's innocent, it's all fun and games, it's all for the family entertainment, and you just go, and then boom, your life changes because here comes a little dollar piece sized part flying off the truck. And I'm just like, okay, I always heard it was a sprocket, and I heard it came from the middle of the field. Now, the Tacoma Dome, was it the arena or was it the stadium that incident and your first experience you went to happened in?
Uh, it classifies as an arena, but I think it should be like up there with like the stadiums because it does have enough room for like a backflip ramp and it does have the same size as like most stadiums in Monster Jam now. Like I've been there like I think like 5 times. It's a huge arena.
So I know I see a few videos from the Tacoma Dome, and it is a very huge space compared to what we have out here in Sacramento, which is just not a baseball court, but a basketball court. And I feel like the ones that you see in Tacoma from the Instagram videos I'm seeing, those shows look way better than what we get, and they're both classified as arenas. But my next question to you is, what made you want to do animations to your YouTube channel when it came to Monster Jam content?
Um, that's a loaded question.
Loaded. Oh, let's hear it.
Yeah, very loaded, at least for me. Um, there's multiple things that made me want to do it. Like I watched like animation YouTubers when I was growing up, like the Odd Ones Out and like there was this one YouTuber that I watched all the time like a few months ago, Ellie Productions. He really pushed me to like make animations and I noticed that there was no Monster Jam animated YouTubers. And I felt like, hey, this could be an opportunity to really kind of fit in. And I ultimately just decided to make animations. Like I got like a character commissioned. I told them the fire suit design. I got it back, and when I made a video, it was all right. It got like 300 views or whatever. But right now, like I'm starting to get bigger and bigger and more people notice me. And I really don't know how to feel. Like the I think the only animation YouTuber for Monster Jam, like there's not much that I know of, but it's good to be the first.
Now, when it comes to Monster Jam, I was just talking to someone in the Discord server about this like 2, 3 days ago. That Monster Jam is a very niche community. It's not NASCAR, it's not NFL, it's not the baseball league, it's not football, it's none of that, right? Monster Jam is a very niche community. And if you're in that community, it doesn't take much to get noticed. If you have good thumbnails, if you have a good gimmick, your gimmick is animation. My gimmick is, creeper head, I like Minecraft. Minecraft is my favorite game in the world. And to me, I was just like, what can I call my YouTube? I was just like, you know what? Critical Creeper. So as long as you have a gimmick, as long as you have things to say about the sport, you'll make it pretty far from because there's only two types of content when it comes to Monster Jam, really: recording the full show or having your own opinion and just saying what you want to say. Those are basically the two different types of content creators we have in the Monster Jam community. So when you think about Critical Creeper, when you think about ArenaPod, when you think about Off Track, when you think about TF Motorsports, Monster Truck, like there's not much people that do what we do. So you do bring something new. I was like, who is this guy? I don't know what my first experience was with you. I think it was Monster Jam hot takes that you was reading from your server or community, and I'm like, oh yeah, this dude's pretty cool. And I checked you out, and we don't have much people doing what we do, which is giving their opinion or spreading what the community thinks and loves, and just putting it out in video form. So it's great to have someone like ArenaPod do what he's doing because we need more Monster Jam content creators that are opinionated, don't mind putting in some good, great, or hot take opinions. So, you are one of the first to do it. And I'm glad you're a welcoming addition to the community of Monster Gym because we keep, in my opinion, the community alive. There's not much of us. And it's always great to see a new face. So, my next question to you is What did you think about the 2025 Monster Jam season, good sir?
I think it was, I think above average. I'll explain. Now, 2024 season, it was, I think, the best season in Monster Jam. It may be up there, but it was one of the best. I'll just say that. So 2025 had really like a lot to exceed because 2024 was so good in my eyes. 2025 was okay. I think what really brought it down was like the World Finals. That kind of ruined all of it for me. Not ruined, but kind of brought it down. And 2025, I just don't remember much good moments. I know a few, but not as much as the previous year. In 2024, I can think of a lot. Like Tyler Menninga, I think in like Minneapolis, where he went into the air and then into a moonwalk. Like there was a ton of good stuff like that. And 2025 didn't have stuff like that. And it really all depends on like the World Finals and the format of the World Finals. We can get to that later, but it really depends on the World Finals because that's a season closure. 2024 was good. 2025, no. It was fine.
Now, what did you think about the 2024 World Finals? Like you said, that was kind of like a letdown. And to me, it was one of two shows in my area. I'm not privileged enough. I don't have much money to be going to SoCal all the damn time. Because in my opinion, Monster Jam's really been focusing on this West Coast tour. And someone told me, hey, the West Coast isn't just California. And it's just like, bro, like for the last year or two now, they've been coming exclusively to California. So I went to San Francisco last year, and then the next show to me would have been Anaheim and San Diego, but I live 400 miles away. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go to the World Finals. I thought the racing track for World Finals was beautiful, amazing. But what is it to you that made you feel the way you feel about the World Finals in 2024 at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles?
I actually said that I loved that World Finals, just 2025 was a letdown. The reason why I liked 2024 World Finals was the racing, the high jump, and the skills was fine. Freestyle was a letdown. But that racing competition blew everything out of the water, bro. Like you were there, like how was the atmosphere over there? Because even in the live stream, I could feel like it was a big deal. Like we knew that there was going to be a new racing champion. So I want to pass that to you because you were in that building. What
Oh
did you
man.
feel?
Racing to me, like, growing up, I didn't have the greatest relationship with my dad because he took us to Monster Jam, but we were kind of awkward around him because the household we grew up in and what went down in our household wasn't too bad, wasn't too crazy. But when I was a kid going to Monster Jam, I see everyone around me cheering, going crazy. Me and my brother found my YouTube channel, and if you're watching this, my brother, what's up with it? Shout out to you. But we weren't really enthusiastic. We weren't really just, oh yeah, like this is going on. Like we didn't really we were estranged with my dad, so we were just like just sitting there. But I got my lady into not World Finals, but Monster Jam, and I took her to Oakland 2, 3 years ago when they were coming to Oakland, and she enjoyed it. She loved it. She was doing all these gestures and whatnot. She's into that rednecks kind of stuff. So when we went to LA, me and my lady for World Finals, I kind of felt free. I kind of felt great to just cheer, do what I want to do, and I always tell her, these are the Andersons. They're known to be crazy. Chris. I'm not gonna say Kristen. Hot take. Weston, from what I've seen, is great. Adam, unfortunately, in my opinion, this past 2025 season has really been a letdown. Ryan Anderson still doing what he does, and then Tyler Menninga. Even though I don't consider Tyler Menninga a great, what I know this is gonna be crazy to say, but Tyler Menninga is his own beast, right? And he's just so good to be a Gravedigger driver that he feels like he's not supposed to be there. And I say that because Gravedigger is an Anderson thing. Although we had Charlie Parkin and people like Randy Brown drive Gravedigger that we all come to love and recognize as one of the greatest drivers. So when I see these people at World Finals, especially the Andersons at SoFi, they really did a terrible job, in my opinion. They all got knocked out in, I think it was round two, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And that's kind of unheard of for all the Andersons to get knocked out in round two. And they showed the camera on Kristen Anderson's face like she was shocked because really it was more of an independence wet dream when it came to SoFi. They were all doing great. David Ofrid, we had Zach Garner get to the finals. David Ofrid, I think, got to the semis. Please correct me if I'm wrong,
I think he
but
did.
I got it wrong. Okay. Cool. Oh, you said he did?
I think he did, if I remember correctly.
I think he finished in second or third, but he got one of the medals. And to me, the atmosphere there for racing, in my honest opinion, it was some of the greatest racing I've ever seen. I got out my seat. I was cheering. It was such a crazy moment in history. And I'm usually never like that, where I'm just like screaming, cheering, because I don't like being that kind of guy at an event. I try to pride myself on being cordial. But the atmosphere there for the racing was just so unique. And I've never felt that way for a regular stadium show. And racing for that division, because I interviewed Monster Truck Lord the other week or two, and he was saying he loves racing because racing is subjective. And I kind of get why he says that because when it comes to freestyle, it's subjective, and the people who vote in freestyle are kids, people who don't really pay attention to the sport. They get to vote whatever. But when it comes to racing, as he was saying, it's definitive. It's not scripted. You know who's gonna win. Not you know who's gonna win, but it's such a subjective sport in terms of racing because you don't know who's gonna win. So when I saw Zach Garner, I wasn't really much of a Zach Garner fan, but that night, plus at Salt Lake this past year, made me a huge fan. I love him, and I was hoping that he won in Salt Lake City. BS format that you said you want to talk about later. We'll talk about later. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But he's such a upcoming rising star that SoFi, I would say the best part of that World Finals had to be the racing. The freestyle, you don't know how much people left my section. I was in the middle row, bro. I was like, there was the first floor where you're close to the action, you're close to the seating, close to everything. Then you had the middle row, top row, and then the last second top row. And there was barely anybody on the top row. Third row, didn't really see much, but the row I was sitting in, when racing started, there was a whole bunch of people. After racing, by the end of the night, when we left during Byakugan Dragonoid's freestyle. We were leaving then. Our whole section was damn near cleared. And that's
Actually,
probably,
bro,
say that again?
actually, like people left.
People, bro, freestyle. I usually like to get my money's worth. I don't like moving from my seat. Even I was walking in and about the stadium, bro. I was trying to so I was on the monster truck group on Facebook, and I'm like, they got some trucks that you don't usually see in the stores here. Let me know what you guys want. And then my phone was dying. I had to go get a charger from the SoFi Stadium charger section. I have never seen so many people leave a section in my life. As time went on during freestyle, even I left. I don't like leaving. I like getting my money's worth. I love monster trucks. I don't even leave from a movie in the theaters unless I absolutely have to. But when it comes to monster trucks, I'm going to go pee at halftime. I'm going to watch racing. I'm going to watch freestyle. My whole row when I left was empty, bro. Empty. And that's probably because the single day format, maybe a lot of people got there at 10 a.m. When freestyle came around, it was 7 p.m., 6:30 p.m., 6 o'clock. right? Maybe even later. I forgot. I got to check my photo album. But if I was there for 12 to 14 hours that day, bro, I came at 10:30. I didn't leave until 9:30. That's like 11, 12 hours damn near. And if you came super early for the pit party to get early access, you're there for a whole 12 hours. So I get why people are leaving, but I have never seen so much people in my section leave. I've never seen that from SoFi. I didn't even see that from San Francisco. I didn't see that from Oakland. I didn't see that from Two Extreme Motorsports and Antelope, not Antelope, but Antioch this past March. That's why I prefer the 2 day formats. I love 2 day
Yeah.
formats. So racing, I know it was a long tangent, my bad,
No, you're good.
but racing was beautiful. Like as I get older, I love racing more, and I can't believe I'm saying that because freestyle to me is kind of getting boring, and racing is such an objective sport where you don't know who's gonna win, you don't know who's gonna crash, you don't know who's gonna go take the turn wide, you don't know who's gonna get a 5 second penalty, even though they don't really do that as much anymore. Racing to me has gotten better in these last few years, and I appreciate Monster Jim and Feld for making racing such a high octane experience to watch.
Yeah, that's the problem with freestyle. Like racing, like you said, is just straightforward. You know what truck wins, deserves to advance. And for freestyle, yeah, that is so subjective. It's not even funny, bro. Like there's a run that you could think is like a 10 out of 10 and others think that it's like a 7. And that's the issue with freestyle and especially the world championships, bro. Like it is there is so much runs that I can think of where people think like this deserves to win, but it's like not a good freestyle. And that's an example I can think of is I think World Finals 20 with Todd LeDuc, where he just did that massive leap. And other than that, I don't remember much from that freestyle. And Whiplash definitely deserved the win that night. Yeah, freestyle. Yeah, there's always going to be someone not happy with the results, regardless of who it is. There's no going to be one definitive truck that everyone agrees on that one. And freestyle this year in the World Finals, especially, like the main thing that I look for in freestyle is destruction, uh, not really like is it like a momentum run? I don't know what they call it. I don't look for momentum. I look for just crazy stuff. And Wildside checked all the boxes, but Blake Ranger got the win.
I ain't gonna lie, brother. I ain't gonna lie. I did think that Blake deserved to win, and
Wow.
I say that because I honestly feel, and I understand where people like you are coming from, where people who be like Zach Garner should have won, Zach should have won. If you seen my video on YouTube, I'm over here screaming, I'm over here cheering, I'm going, whoa, I'm doing all these crazy things, right? Because Zach is my GOAT. I love Zach. But the only reason, the only reason, I've said this a million times, I said this once on the podcast, I believe. The only reason why Zach, many people thought should have won is because it's high octane. And most importantly, it's destruction. It's crazy. He's saving it. His truck is broke, but he's flooring it. He's pedal to the metal. And we don't see that much in Monster Jam, that to the point that it's such a rare occurrence that, oh, he should have won. He should have won. But I've always felt that if you're crazy and technical, you should win. Now, Zach didn't feel the clock, and a lot of his air after he broke his truck was lackluster. But it was so fun because the officials allowed him to run. And when it comes to the World Finals, that's where Monster Jam, for the most part, allows so much exemptions that they usually place on drivers and independents during the season tour. That, oh, you broke a tire, it's flat, we got to shut you down. You broke a sway bar, we got to shut you down. A four link, we got to shut you down. So when it comes to the World Finals and you see them being so lax on the regulations and rules, we see Zach come out and he's going crazy. Zach's run was I'm this is a hot take to a lot of people maybe. So, some people were saying Zach's run was the freestyle of all of Monster Jam history. It's like, okay, guys, you're just exaggerating. Okay, we don't need to just say the BS to say it. Like to anyone who said that, you're stupid, you're dumb. I'm sorry, but it's just that like are you really gonna say that this is the best freestyle run in Monster Jam history? It's probably the best in modern Monster Jam history, where we don't see that anymore. I'll agree with you there. But to say that's the best freestyle run in history of all time, there's some big YouTubers who said that. No names. I'm not gonna say names. But I'm just like, I can't believe you're saying that. I can't. But I also understand why you think that because Blake was more technical. It's what we're used to. And I get that. But to me, Blake's run was consistent. He filled the clock. He put in some moves that we usually don't see in a freestyle as often. I'm not saying it's rare. It's not rare, but as often as it should. He did like what, two backflips, maybe one. I'm probably wrong, but
Yeah, you did too, I believe.
yeah. So he did two. He did like two moonwalks. He had an air. He was consistent. He filled the clock. I've always felt that the fans don't know what they're voting for because most fans that are voting are kids or parents. You see my post on Instagram. Regan even said that Monster Gym caters to the casuals. So even though me, you are diehard fans, we don't make up the majority. If you cater to us, Monster Gym would be out of business. So when the people are voting for their favorite freestyler or truck to win, it's usually gonna be all up to subjection because to some, Neil Elliott should have won freestyle. I don't know what World Finals it was, but I finally watched that a
Or
few
Finals
months.
18.
So World Finals 18. Neil's Elliott run was so lackluster. The only thing people have known that freestyle for was the first in competition front flip. I get that. It's a crazy moment because we've seen Tom Mintz over the years trying and trying and trying, even with all these special gadgets and gizmos to try to make it work. Didn't work. Then you have Leo Donald just come out of nowhere, hit the gas, and do a front flip. That's a unique move. We've never seen it, and especially in competition. It's not a stunt. They didn't do these practice runs. It was a perfect recipe for a perfect front flip. I will give Leo Donald that. But watching the show, in my opinion, if you were a fan judge, not a fan judge, but if I believe if we had professional judges, we might have seen Neil Elliott finally win his first World Finals championship. Because Neil Elliott did the first reverse backflip, landed it perfectly. He was consistent, had big air, and it was a great. It was technical, it was fresh, it was new, and he tried different things. But we really put a 2 minute run of bullshit with one front flip, and he won. It's a crazy moment, but it when you watch people's videos from in the stands, like Michael said from Who's Ready for Monster Jam, if you weren't there, you won't understand. But it's just like I get it's a crazy moment in time, but do we really got to reward it with a freestyle win? Now it'd be different. It'd be different if Leo Donald was going crazy, maybe like Zach, maybe like Neil Elliott, and he just pulled the front flip. I'd be like, you know what? Goddamn, hot dog. He needs to win. But it's just that I don't. It's so subjective, and they allow anyone. I don't ever vote in fan judging ever, ever. And the reason why I don't
Neither do I.
good on you. Because it's just that the people who vote don't know what they're voting for. And I'm glad Monster Jam brought back professional judging. You know, they have someone who works in the company, maybe a driver. It's like, you know what? He's technical, he's crazy. Let's score that at an 8. Or his truck is kind of what somewhat broke. And you know what? He kind of whipped it around. He did his best. So let's give him a 7.5. I'm glad the professional judge is back.
Yeah, it kind of balances things out. Like a score could be too high from just the fans themselves, and the professional judge kind of balances it out a bit.
I love it. I love the new edition. I hope it stays. And I'm over here at work today thinking about what solutions Monster Jam could do to make the voting so much better. And I think Monster Jam should give out like a criteria. Like this is what I was thinking about. Like, okay, did the driver do a backflip? Plus 2 points. Did the driver crash and save his truck? Plus 2 points. Did he do a wheelie? Did he do a donut? You know, you can make these different requirements to make the scoring a 10 out of 10 if the drivers meet these certain conditions to make a freestyle enjoyable and entertaining to watch. But I've never really considered Monster Jam in recent years a legitimate sport. And it's because when you allow the fans to judge, it becomes more of an entertainment company, you know? And that's why racing is so great because you don't have fan input to be like, you know what? You just saw this driver win, but who do you think should have won? You know, like racing is great for that, and that's why maybe a lot of people who are older Monster Jam fans appreciate racing more because fans don't have any input, and it comes down to driver skill, driver readiness, and technique to get that truck across the line. So, my next question to you is: what do you think of the 2026 lineups, and how do you feel about the next season with the new tracks they've been testing in the Sparkle Smash Bash? How do you feel? What do you think is going to go down during the 2026 season?
The lineups themselves are pretty bare bones. They're too similar to this year, where it's like the Kraken, Jester, and the same Gravedigger driver is in the same tourism. It's like nothing's different, absolutely nothing. And I don't like that. Like the same trucks are going to the same stadiums. I don't like it very much. And I'll tell you why, because I personally like seeing different drivers at each show. I do. And just seeing those the same people go to San Antonio all the damn time, it just gets a bit tiring. And I really don't like the way that they made the lineups. I am interested to see what Camden's driving though. Favorite driver, favorite driver, favorite driver. But I just wish they put him in another tour rather than the same people. I think he's with Adam. Is he with Adam?
Let me double check. Give me a second chat. Give me a second video. I have all the photos on my phone.
Yeah, because either he's with Tyler or Adam, but either way, I think you know what I mean.
I think he's with Adam. Yeah, he's with Adam because Tyler and I think it was no. I could be wrong. Hold on. No, no, yeah, yeah. It's not Adam and Ryan this year. It's Adam and Tyler Menninga, not
Yeah.
Adam. It's Ryan and Tyler Menninga, and it's Adam and Candom. And honestly, I don't get why Candom is in like. If anyone doesn't know, Mr. ArenaPod here loves Classroom Crusher. He is a big fan of Classroom Crusher. I understand why he is. I'm still looking for the diecast. Even if I don't like the truck necessarily, as you can see behind me, I'll collect diecast. If it's a real truck to me, if it's a real truck in reality, I'm gonna collect it. And I even got a Sparkle Smash. Oh God, the Critical Giver got a Sparkle Smash. Oh no, but it's like he's a big fan. I get it, and I believe some people think that Candom's gonna be back in Byakugan, but Byakugan is a sponsored truck. I don't think it's gonna be back. I don't think he's gonna be put in another Classroom Crusher. I hope we see a new live truck. Maybe we see Monster Jam's new sponsor, which is Torque Cybersecurity. Maybe they make a truck similar to what what's his name? Uh Chris Kohler did. Maybe not, but I don't get why it's a to be determined truck. I would love to see what it is. But when it comes to lineups, I don't really care who drives. As long as you have an Anderson on the tour, maybe Tyler Menninga, I'm cool. I'm happy with it, right? I just want to see trucks fly and do crazy shit. So I want to ask you, do you enjoy independent shows? And if you don't enjoy independent shows, what do you think independents can do better to make them more appealing to people who are diehard or hardcore Monster Gym fans? Like, what's your opinion on independents in general?
Independence, I haven't seen much, especially in recent years. Like I've seen a few Monster Truck Throwdown shows, and they're good. And I think the reason why, not necessarily because of the crush cars, that's not it. But I think that there was a lot more like uh aim towards us diehards. Like Monster Truck Throwdown, like they aim towards people like us, but Hot Wheels and Monster Jam now, like they aim towards just the casuals and the children, and kind of drives us away. Like kind of driving me away. I'm never gonna not be a fan, but it's slowly trying to phase all of us out. That's kind of the thing that I've noticed. And going back to Throwdown and other independents that really pour their heart and soul into this monster truck industry, they really show like they actually care. And Monster Jam doesn't seem like they do.
Man,
Hmm.
to a lot of people, Monster Truck Throwdown is keeping what made Monster Trucks great, which is Crush Cars. But your point about not being about Crush Cars, um, I see why you say that because I haven't been to a Monster Truck Throwdown show at all, really. They came to Salinas this past year, but it was so close to World Finals, I didn't go. And my lady had work, and I didn't feel like driving 2, 3 hours to go see them. When they come back in 2026, because apparently they're coming back, possible rumor. If they come back, I'm definitely going because they cater to what monster trucks are about. You know, fun, loud trucks, going crazy, the field looking all vibrant and beautiful, and crush cars. And it's always great to see independent tourists like Monster Truck Throwdown or uh what's the other one called? Toughest trucks. They're great, but they don't really come out and explore their horizons. And I know a lot of people say, "Oh wow, monster trucks have always been for kids." Well, when I was in the sport in 2019, it wasn't so kid centric as it was, 6 years later. I went to Orlando, I went to Santa Clara, I went to Oakland. We didn't have DJ Mooski, we didn't have the Sparkle Smash Bash, we didn't have none of that. And it seems like the independents, for the most part, not all of them, but for the most part, are just we're gonna give you a fun show, And we had malicious truck tour, I think it's called. I could be wrong, but we had
Militia?
malicious, I think, or it's the
It,
one with
I,
California Kid and the one with Identity Thief.
I think it's called Militia.
All right, so they came to Roseville. I live like literally like less than 20 minutes away from the Speedway. I lived in Stockton at one point, less than 10 minutes away from the Speedway. But I never go because I believe independence, some of them just absolutely suck. I'm not saying it to be effed up. There are exceptions like we just mentioned, Toughest Truck or Throwdown. Beautiful shows, they cater to everyone, track designs beautiful, and they do what gearheads and monster truck fans alike love. They bring 2, 3 trucks out. They do a quadruple or double backflip with two different trucks. Um, it's beautiful to see, and all their identities is not kid oriented. I don't know the exact tour which had Shell Shocked, Dirt Crew, but it was the one with the red bus stack that was lengthways. And it just seems to me, you go to one of those shows, it's just we're here for everyone. We're here for
Yeah.
everyone. You like monster truck, you like it's just that's what monster trucks are supposed to be. And people will argue and get defensive that people like as of lately, TF Motorsports, even on this podcast. Oh, Monster Jam and Hot Wheels. I just seen a video of Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels is great, but they're super kid centric. Monster Jam is kid centric, but is nowhere near Hot Wheels. But it's sad when markets like that, the big guns, the heavy hitters, are focused on catering to not just everyone, but kids. So I see why a lot of people migrate to the independents. I went to Extreme. It was a decent show. They had a kid segment, just one kid segment, just one. You know, Power Wheels. Okay, parents. Uh, on three, let the kids go, and then boom, they go. Other than that, they didn't stop the show and ask the fans, "Hey, you know, here's a toy set from us," or "Hey, yo, DJ Moski, if you're 10 years old, dance," or you know, it's just it's like I appreciate the things that Monster Jam is doing. I do. But it's just in recent years, no, we're not just saying this because we grew up. We're saying this because we grew up and we're old enough to think for ourselves. So I don't go to Independence because you don't see what you see at Independence at Monster Jam. And I get why a lot of people have stronger opinions towards Independence. And I can't believe we're here to begin with. Um, it is what it is. But my next question to you is, what do you think about the 2026 World Finals format for Monster Jam?
Slightly better. Like it has a 28 truck lineup, which is better. Allows more trucks to get in there, like more deserving trucks. And the format is still kind of shit. Uh, Thursday, I believe. I think it's Thursday. They're having high jump, two wheel, and qualifying, and last chance
Chance
qualifier.
qualifier,
I
yeah.
remember. Yeah, I remembered. All of that, yeah, I love that. That is densely packed.
It is
But
packed. It's crazy.
yeah, that's good. No complaints over there. Like you want money, put everything there, and then let people go enjoy it. That's good. No complaints. But Friday, Saturday, still not good. They still did the same shit they did, and they split the field and put it on separate days. And I think the flaw with that is there's no champions on Friday. I think it's Friday, is it? Either way, like the first day of the actual World Finals, there's no champions, no racing champion, no freestyle champion. And for me, it's like, why the fuck would I watch it? Like, why would I waste my time on this when nothing's actually happening? And Saturday, when they actually do have like racing and freestyle champions, I don't get it. Like, just racing on the first day and freestyle the second day. Like, it's not that hard. And Monster Jam is just doubling down. I get it. They want to sell more tickets, but that's not the way to do it. It's not. I don't get it, bro. Like, it's just so dumb. Why would they continue to double down on that, bro?
Um, this is where I get a lot of heat, and I seen how the community did me. And I mentioned in my video that if we put money toward, I was a hypocrite. Call me a hypocrite, guys. I'm saying this right now. Call me a hypocrite. But I said that if we show, because I have drivers, only one driver who comments like if you guys knew what went behind the scenes, what went on behind the scenes, you wouldn't be fans to begin with. And Tim Horn made a video years ago about Medusa and Leo Donald coming out on Twitter. It's known as X now, exposing Monster Jam for what they are. And a lot of people don't want to hear that kind of stuff because a lot of people hear stuff like that and be like, he's a hater. When in reality, if you have such strong and diverse and explanatory opinions, it's probably because you were a fan to begin with. And me personally, I only made those videos because I was voicing what most people were voicing. You go on Instagram, everyone's trashing on the format, and everyone was talking about it. And people really still think Monster Jam is a legitimate competition. I don't think it's legitimate. I have never ever considered Monster Jam a legitimate competition. I considered it entertainment. I'm not there to see who wins. I'm there to just see monster trucks fuck shit up, right? So when they do the format and people still think this is a legitimate competition, just imagine NASCAR doing that. The Daytona 500. It's a Daytona 250 on Saturday and the Daytona 250 on Sunday. Just imagine what's another one? UFC doing that. We're gonna do have to fight now and have to fight tomorrow. People are invested in these kind of things because there's some form of legitimacy to these things. And Michael said it best because he used to work for Monster Jam. Michael said that there's people in the company that aren't going to like what I say about it. But if Monster Jam, this we made this interview before the 2026 season came out. We made this before Bailey's Circuit was revealed. He said that if Monster Jam chooses to do the format next year in Salt Lake, it will prove to fans they don't give a fuck. They don't care. I don't say the things I say because I'm a hater. I say these things because a lot of fans give Monster Jam too much credit. Monster Jam is at the top of the game. I don't like independents because I'm not gonna say I don't like them. I do like them to an extent, depending on the venue they're at. But when you have the biggest promoter in history of all of the monster truck industry doing the bullshit they're doing, then you have people like Tim Horn. Then you have people like Clear Sky Productions. Then you have people like me who can see the things for what they are and just voice their opinions. And people are mad at us. We're not the ones making the decisions. It's failed. It's Monster Jam. And we say the things we say not because we're haters, but because we see the sport we all love making changes, and then failed in Monster coming out and saying the format is to sell more tickets and the format is for the casuals to come and be able to enjoy all of the events for the World Finals. But you have people, I don't know if you watched this, I don't know if it was on stream, but when I was there, they said somebody came from Italy.
Wow.
Motherfuckers are coming from Italy to see this shit. Those aren't casuals. Those are the fans who actually know what's going on within the company. The skills, the freestyle's great. If they went to a pit party, they probably know everyone's name. But Monster Jam, and I get why they do it, cater to casuals because that's what keeps us here, thriving, still breathing. And if it wasn't for the casuals, Monster Jam would have been dead. But when it comes to the World Finals, makes exceptions. I don't like when they announce the format. I love Thursday. Thursday is beautiful.
Hmm.
Friday, I think Saturday, I'm just like there. I don't care if it's 28 trucks, man. I don't care if it's 28 trucks because first and foremost, we're gonna find a way to sneak in two Bailey circuits, maybe two plus, or maybe three or four Sparkle Smashes. We're gonna see two or three Megalodons. We're gonna see two or three zombies. We're gonna see like, come on, like there's just so many things that don't get me excited because what you guys are doing during the season, which is four Sparkle Smashes, not four Bailey, I always get this wrong. Two Bailey circuits, we got four Megalodons, we got four zombies, we got four El Taro Locos, and the most disservice to all of those things is they don't make them different from one another like we saw back in the early 2010s when we have a black El Taro Loco running, we have a yellow El Taro Loco running, we have a like they don't do much besides World Finals to make them look different from each other, and I do appreciate that. But
Yeah.
that should already be the standard during the season. But I don't care if it's 28 trucks. If it, for one, it's a god awful format, and then two, it's 10 plus trucks shouldn't look the same. There should not be five Gravediggers. There should not be two Bailey circuits, three Sparkle Smashes, or like there's just too many replicas and duplicates that you can expand the field to 40. It doesn't mean we're gonna see 40 unique truck identities go down the strip and race in the track or freestyle. And I get that the company's doing what they need to do for their biggest paid trucks. I do. But it gets boring when the company, for example, Classroom Crusher's already been demoted to the arenas. And it's because Fail didn't push it. We're pushing Sparkle Smash. I get it. The girls love it. The gay community loves it. Cool. I get that. I'm not tripping. But you got trucks like Digatron that didn't get no anniversary. You got trucks like Thunder and Roars that didn't get no anniversary. You got El Taro Local that's been around just as long as Gravedigger in Monster Jam. They get nothing. And it's like they choose the trucks they want to push. So
Yeah. Monster Jam, they mostly just push like trucks that they actually want to be popular. Like, why
Exactly.
do you think they don't celebrate independence?
I get why they don't celebrate independence because they're not federal properties. And when it comes to Avenger, I do imagine there might be royalties involved because there was a little buzz on the internet recently about, oh yeah, Spin Master said Avengers gonna get a 5 pack, and it's just that if you guys believe this, you're idiots because Spin Master for the last 2 years, 3 years, maybe even longer, before I started collecting them heavy, they always come out with Dragon. They always come out with El Toro Loco. They always come out with Megalodon. They always come out with Gravedigger. And that's already half the series. There's other trucks they haven't made in so long, and there's trucks that have yet to see the limelight. We finally get Nomad Avenger. Beautiful. I love it. Then we get Nitro Neon Avenger. But it's like, who asked for, we're older folk, of course. We're not kids. Kids
Yeah.
are the biggest spenders, when it comes to parents. Hey, can I go to the store, mom? Dad, can I get a few dollars to go buy a monster truck? I get it. Just because I'm ragging on kids doesn't mean I understand their play. When I was a kid too, I was like, I want to get Brutus, I want to get Avenger, and oh man, just thinking about it, just the nostalgia just hitting into me. But it's just that Mosh, like, I don't know if you watched my Reagan interview, but he was saying a lot of gems, and I gotta reference him because you know guys on YouTube, just because we're talking like the way we're talking doesn't mean we're not fans. Disclaimer here, disclaimer. But he was saying that the NFL focuses on making lifelong fans. You could be a 10-year-old watching NFL, you could be a 15-year-old, you could be a 20-year-old, and when you go to a stadium show, there's a diverse crowd of
Yeah.
people all alike. Same thing for the NBA. Adults, kids, teenagers. You go to a Monster Jam, if you're over 15, you're part of the minority. Most people in Monster Jam are half the size of you. When the show is over, you see a sea of kids, you know? And there is things that they could do to bring back older fans and keep older adults their attention, retained. There's things you can do. But if you're just pushing to be more of a kit product as the years go on, such as Shygon Shaker having to get rid of the Shygon name, Gunslinger having to get rid of the gun in his name, or Soldier Fortune having to get rid of the gun, there are things that will attract older audience members. Even the what's the word here, the presentation of it, if you're not worried about these two things, you're not going to have adults and older teenagers be involved in it. So that's why I say Monster Jam, like I said earlier, is a niche community because we're so small and we don't have much actual fans in the discords, on Instagram, YouTube, keeping the sport alive because we feel to a certain degree alienated. But we have a love for the sport so much so that we make videos so people behind us and people currently can get invested in the sport. And there are just so many things they can do. And it's not, in my opinion, going the right direction. I'm not happy for the 2026 season because there's just so many duplicates and the tracks they've been testing out are terrible in my opinion. Besides the Chicago style. But my
Yeah.
next question to you is: what track from the Fall Stadium series is a good track to you, and what has been the worst ones and why?
The worst has to be St. Louis. That track is just a mess. Uh, the the racing route sucks. Like I can barely tell. I even still barely know like how that track works. I may have to go watch it again because I don't understand it. Chicago style I can get behind. Like I remember it from 2018. That gave me it was one of the darker years for us Must Gym fans, but that track was actually pretty good, I must admit. Chicago style, I definitely missed it. I even saw it in Arlington. I was there, and I actually did enjoy it. Like it had actually, yeah, it actually had good racing. And did they have anything else? Uh, I don't know. They all just kind of bleed together. That's the only issue, having the same track. Like that's the only issue I have with the Fall Stadium series. Like, all they have is just that stupid track in St. Louis. And from what I remember, they only have Chicago style for the rest. And they may have a new track in Glendale,
The
but I
Glendale one
doubt it.
apparently is going to be the St. Louis track, where it's that big giant arena pod name drop in the middle of the podcast. But what do you call it? So what I heard is it's going to be that big giant pod. It's a creative track. I will say it's creative, but it's one big giant web of BS in my opinion. And you
Yeah.
did mention the Dark Ages. What year is the Dark Ages, and why do you say it is the Dark Ages?
2018 through 2020.
And why is that?
2019 slightly got better. Okay, I'll go through year by year. 2018, there was there was a lot to uh there was a lot of expectations from the previous World Finals. And I want to ask you, do you remember anything from 2018?
I, w
That's not from the World Finals.
I wasn't around, and during 2018, I got back into the sport in 2019. I only watched three shows. I didn't really get back into Monster Jam full time until this past year because
Wow.
commentators like Who's Ready for Monster Jam, he just released the St. Louis and Syracuse one, I believe, on his membership only, and they will be released to the public here this tomorrow. But
Oh,
his commentary is a fresh of breath air, and I will be watching any future Monster Jam videos today and here on out, even throughout the 2026 season, of his commentaries. They're fresh, they're rejuvenating, so I wouldn't remember anything at all. I watched the World Finals, I believe. I could be wrong. Um, I don't think I did. Is that the one where Ryan won a
yeah, he
championship?
won.
Okay, so I didn't watch that, and I wouldn't know anything from that season. But go on, explain your point, good sir.
Yeah. Other than Randy Brown's crash from, I think, Michigan, I don't remember anything from 2018. Like, I don't remember much. And I was fully into that sport at the time. I was fully into it. And 2018 was just lackluster. And that primarily comes from 2017 being a pretty good year. And 2018 didn't live up to the hype. And going back into 2019, they removed crush cars. Yeah, that wasn't good for us. That definitely was not good. World Finals did live up to expectations, but when 2020 came along, that's when COVID also came along. And those to me are the dark ages, like one of the worst years to be a monster truck fan. That's even where I started to lose interest. Like I completely lost interest in 2019 and didn't get back into it until a few years later. That those were not good years at all. They were not. Didn't you get back into the sport until 2019? Didn't you get back into it?
I got back into it because I don't know what. I was driving or I was at home probably. I don't remember. Foggy memory here. But I remember seeing the advertisement for Monster Gym at Oakland. I'm just like, oh, I haven't been there forever. Let's take my dad, let's take my brother, and we went. Good show for what it is. And when my first thoughts there was, why is the track all dirt? And then there's a El Toro local that's ice. I forgot what I think there's a fire truck there. Could be wrong. I forgot which truck. I don't think it was Maximum Destruction. I think it was Zombie. I think it was Zombie Fire and El Charloco Ice that was there. Guys, correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong. But I was like, okay, this is different. The track is different. And then why is this truck right here that's yellow whistling? And the yellow truck in question was Brodozer. I was like, I asked my brother, I'm like, wait, that's a diesel truck? He said, yeah. I'm like, because my brother Alan, I know you're watching this. I don't think he got out the sport at all. He found my channel because I used to post my thumbnails on my personal Instagram, and he follows me and he found my YouTube channel. I'm just like, damn. But I was like, there's just so many different things going on. I love Fire and Ice. Fire and Ice was beautiful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just like, why is just like the colors, you know? And it what I wasn't. Those were just subtle thoughts. Subtle. I still enjoyed the sport for what it is. It wasn't until 2020 25, I believe, because I only watched. I only went to San Francisco in 2024, and I went to SoFi. Good time, great time. 2025 was like, okay, guys, what the hell is this? I say that because the tracks are bland. World Finals is always red and blue. And not only that, but it's just that, okay, guys, this one track, I think it was the West, where it was the two paws they started on, and they looped around, they turn in the berm, go around the starting pod, and then come back around all the way and jump over it. It was the track we saw in Syracuse. That track, in my opinion, for Syracuse, overseas and countries like Singapore, is the worst track in recent years. It's so empty, it's so boring, it's bullshit, and I feel sorry for people in Singapore where they're and in the Australian tour where the last time you saw Monster Jam, they had big dirt jumps, they got crush cars. 10 years later, you go up in that motherfucker. The jumps are no bigger than 8 feet tall, 6 feet tall, and yeah, the ramps are steeper, but holy fucking shit, I'm sorry to say it, but you guys got robbed. You guys got robbed because the track is so empty. It's empty, and the crush cars isn't the issue. The cars added flavor, but it's more along the lines of, for me personally, it's the track paintings, bro. Like when you go to World Finals 9, World Finals 8, World Finals 7, World Finals 6, when you go to World Finals 10, 11, 12, 13, I think it was 13 or 14, maybe even 12. I have a screen. I mean, I'm gonna go look it up real quick. I don't want to get it wrong, but I was doing some research for a video, and it told me that this was the last year that they used colored tracks for the World Finals. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. So to me, it's not more along the lines of crush cars. It's more along the lines that the tracks look like they had passion in them. Passion, there's more than two colors. And to me, I'm just like, whoa, that's crazy, that the track crew did their job. And speaking of crush cars, I don't care what you tell me. It's for safety. It's the plastic. It's the debris. Guys, it's corporate bullshit talk. You have the elephants in the room. You have Toughest. You have Throwdown. You have Hot Wheels crushing cars. It's not Martian didn't even crush cars, bro. That's just the truth. They had some freestanding cars. I never seen a car get crushed in Martian and be like, "Whoa, the truck just crushed the car." Like, no, it's the fact that it added more character to the track because as the years went on in the early to mid 2010s, the cars were already flattened and just painted and put in the track. It's just that for monster trucks, cars have been a huge staple of monster truck history. It's like having a five-star meal without the other two or three different variables that made it a five-star meal to begin with. And when you remove the crush cars, you remove half of the character because monster trucks originated from people like Bigfoot, Bob Chandler, people like there's other people besides Dennis Anderson here, but the whole sport began with crushing cars. The sport evolved. Sport get bigger. Crush cars get involved. Bus stacks, buses, RVs. It's part of the show already. And I don't care if they removed them. I just don't like the fact that they're lying to us and you have people making videos on why they remove crash cars, guys. They removed them because it's cheap. They removed it. I don't, it's not the microplastics, it's not the safety, because all the major truck incidents or all the incidents in terms of people getting hurt, whether it be the driver or fans, came from the truck. There has not been one incident where a piece of metal or glass flew off a truck and hits not a truck but a car and injured somebody. The Tacoma Doe was a dollar sized bill, like you mentioned earlier in the conversation.
Yeah.
Dennis Anderson landed a backflip on his roof and he broke his neck. Same thing for Tom Mintz. He landed on his roof, broke his neck. Um, Cody Saucier in 2024 in not Salt Lake, yeah, Salt Lake. I don't know what it was, but his a bar off was it? No, it was wrong name. It was not Cody Saucier. It was the guy who drove Thunder Royce. I don't know his name. What was his name?
Cole Stevens?
Cold Steven, when he buried his truck in the jump, a big ass piece of metal flew off his truck and went straight in the air.
Yeah, that was the four link.
The dangerous part of a Monster Jam track is the trucks. There's not been one incident on record. One. Uno momento. There's not been there's not been one incident of a crushed car, bus, RV being the reason why someone got injured. Maybe
Even
their
then, it
insurance.
can happen.
Hmm?
Just they got to take precautions, like even more precautions than usual. Like if you got to put a net over the audience, then do it. And from what I saw in Arlington, they were crushing a plane, and I think they had fucking like shit over the windows, like nets. Like this was NASCAR. If you got to do that, then do what you got to do, honestly. As long as we have crushing, but we don't. And that's the issue. And I didn't see nets when they had the World Finals, and there was cars there. So what are they doing?
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Great, look, guys, look. So someone told me Neil Elliott back in the early 2000s was almost impaled by an RV. But since that incident, it's been 10 plus years from that current incident in the early 2000s where a driver was almost struck by wood. Excuse me. I'm not going to say that go fuck yourself over for my enjoyment. If safety is a precaution, then safety is a precaution. But don't lie to me and say it's because of the plastics, the RV, the trucks, the pieces off the car are gonna fly into the stands. The conversation should have been over when you had people like Ryan Anderson, people like the driver of Shogun Saker, the driver Adam Anderson. They went. I'll link it in the description of this video. But you had them on an Instagram say that, oh, what's a hot take you guys have, Monster Jam fans? What's your hot take? A lot of fans saying their gripes and issues with Monster Jam. Here comes the drivers employed with failed talking about bring back the crush cars, bring back the old school tracks, and those comments are still up to date. They're still on that
Wow.
video, not video, they're still on the Instagram. If you have failed drivers telling you they want the old school back, just imagine being 5 years old, like Tyler Menninga, and the sport you grew up with, like seeing the trucks in the late 2000s, early 2010s, crushing cars, jumping over buses, RVs, breaking shit. Just imagine the company you applied for is no longer the Monster Gym you grew up with, right? They need to do something, and they need to do something fast. Because honestly, I saw that schedule for 2026. I was disappointed. I was like,
I
this is the
You weren't
same
the only
shit.
one, bro.
A lot of people are, and the problem is there was a guy who made a video about backyard jam, and he was like, "There's just too many sparkle smashes. There's too many." Someone called him sexist. Someone said grown men are complaining about fiberglass. This is why it sucks to be an older fan because God forbid we have conversations like the NFL, the National Baseball League, Hockey League, whatever. We're critiquing something we love, not hate, but love. And the first thing you have for us is grown men are complaining about fiberglass. We're not complaining about it. The community for Monster Gym is already so small that when someone comes along with an opinion you disagree with, oh, they're a hater. They're a hater. I seen I seen the podcast with you and TF Motorsports. TF Motorsports name drop here. Francisco, hope you're watching. But it's like I seen that and it's just like, oh, Critical Creeper is a cool dude. It's a cool dude. I
Yeah, you
appreciate
are.
you. I appreciate TF Motorsports. I appreciate people like you because at least you gave me a chance. And not only you gave me a chance, you inquired about me. You asked questions. You talked to me. And I think that if you want to get to know the enemy or someone that you think is not good for the community, talk to him, ask questions. And, even though Off Track Productions made a video about me, I'm still salty about it. I talked to him. I talked to him on Discord. We had a good conversation. You know, Instead of getting mad at people, people need to learn how to communicate. I love his content. He makes great videos. But if I had a problem with him, communicate. Discord. If you guys have a problem with me, just communicate. You know, there are people that will say an opinion, and just because it's their opinion, it doesn't mean they're coming out maliciously attacking a medium, a form of entertainment that you dislike. And it upsets me in any community where people who are obviously fans say an opinion that's not really popular and they get quickly hit with, oh, you're just a hater. He's a rage baiter. A lot of people in the Discords don't like me. I get it. I'm not tripping. And I tell myself I don't want to be liked. I want to be respected and appreciated for just being who I am and saying how I really feel. And this
You got
year's,
my respect, bro.
hey, honestly, seeing your hot takes that you had on TF Motorsports was kind of different. I'm just like, look at Mr. Morgan over here. He's saying things that I don't think he'd normally say. And I know you got a video coming up, seen on your announcements or future videos about things you want to change in Monster Jam. So my next question to you is, what are some things you want to change in Monster Jam that you can give us a teaser on in that video that you would bring forth to us now and get a better understanding of what you're working with, good sir?
Well, before I answer that, I wanted to say you came out of nowhere, and when you literally got into the community, at a distance, I was smirking because I know like someone had to bring it up, like all the flaws. Yeah, stuff that I really wanted to say but never did. And in that video that I plan on making, getting to that question now, uh, I don't want to give too much away, but one of the things that I would do is cater more towards everyone rather than kids, rather than just kids exclusively, excuse me. Yeah, Must Jam, they just cater to kids now. And if I remember correctly, Reagan was kind of like drawn out by that. And I agree, like it gets kind of embarrassing to say like I'm a fan of the sport. I never will not be a fan. But when Must Jam focuses more on kids now, like it's like what the fuck am I watching? Like I went to Arlington and the intro took like 30 minutes. Like the show was supposed to start at 7 p.m. And you want to know how long that intro was for the DJ to hype everyone up? I want you to take a guess real quick.
I
Throw out a
remember
number.
I remember you saying 30 minutes.
30 fucking minutes
That's too long.
for the fucking DJ to hype everyone up and for the trucks to come out. Trucks may be having issues in the back. I'll throw that out there. That could be a possibility, but it's like say something rather than just fucking do that bullshit.
Put your hands up. Hey, if you're under 18, put your hands up. Oh, the women are over there twerking. Oh, we can't show that. This is PG. This is PG. It's just like I just seen a clip from Avengers. I'm not sorry to cut you off. I seen a video from Avenger 2, whatever his Instagram name was, and you had Goldberg saying, "I'm gonna kick Gravedigger's ass" on the TNN Motorsports channel. You can't even say a cuss word. I mean, I remember in San Francisco, Mike Christensen, he parked his truck and the camera was on him getting out of his truck. As he was going behind the truck, he flipped off the truck, bro. I'm just like, he really flipped off the truck, bro. They don't show shit like that as much anymore. And it's because the families, the kids, and it's just that back in the day, I posted a picture, you saw it on Instagram, where you had an old dude holding up a Team Mint shirt and you had a whole row of people shirtless with the Gravedigger writing. Each person had a different letter. The 90s and early 2000s was such a different animal where people can have their shirts off in the stands. People can, oh yeah, Team Mitch. I'm a 40-year-old Team Mitch, Team Mitch. Like, nowadays just, hey, Everyone under 18. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, kiddo, we got a little toy set for you, you know. Hey, so do you like Monster Jam? Yeah, I like Monster Jam. Well, Timmy, we got you a little Thundersaurus Rex play sets right here from Spin Master. Spin Master, our baby daddy. Guys, we said Spin Master. Don't flack us. We got you a little toy set, Timmy, of Spin Master. We even got you just for the kicks and shit and giggles. We got you a JCB Dickatron Smashbot trucks toy set. Show it to the camera. Yeah, yeah. And it's just that, can the adults get something? Can we get like a beer commercial? Can we get an adult themed truck? Like they removed the gun, they removed the flamethrower from Dragon. Like there are things that they've done recently where it's like Sparkle Smash has a little confetti cannon. El Choroco has a little smoke cannon. Dragon used to have a fire breath, but it doesn't have it no more. So it's just like we don't say these things because we grew up, guys. We say these things because we obviously know that the demographic has shifted in recent years. And it probably is because of COVID. And a lot of people always point back to COVID. Now I see why. That's all I got to say. What was you saying, Mr. Douglas ArenaPod? Good sir.
Um, yeah, expanding to another thing that I would change is to make it more like a sport, change the entire point system. Uh, it can be split into stadiums and arenas because arenas have more shows, like 5 shows a week. I can't imagine how exhausting that would be for drivers and the crew. But aside from that, put those arena series in a separate point standings. Stadiums can be separate and keep track of all their positions in racing, two wheel, and freestyle, and put it all in a leaderboard. And whoever gets the highest at the end of the season will get into the World Finals. I don't remember who, I think it was Devin Winfield and Velociraptor, but he was on the same tour as Kristen. And I think he got second, if I remember correctly. Either way, it was a team throttle truck. They didn't make it into the World Finals, but Kristen did, and she got fifth. I just think it's so fucked up. That's fucked up in like the fairness, and that's something that has to change, bro. Like a point system would definitely improve it a lot and make me actually pay attention to like the point series. Because if you just win, that guarantees a spot. But if you have a high position, like if you get second, it's not guaranteed. And that's not a good thing.
I I've never considered the point series legitimate because if it was legitimate, we would never see Jim Kohler in War Finals. But it's tradition. He's been around since the beginning. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
knocking that. And a lot of people think that Monster Jam Point Series is legitimate. And I look at them like, are you serious? And it was obviously evident. I don't know why people still probably don't believe it that they invited Kristen Anderson to War Finals. I wasn't really keeping up with it, but I already knew if you're a Gravedigger driver, you're automatically in the World Finals. So if you really meant anything by your point series, you would actually enforce the rule across
yeah.
the board. And I'm glad they pinned up the World Finals to 28 trucks. We might see people who are more deserving of a World Finals spot be put into the main field.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, oh, we need people for the last chance qualifier. Even though Christian finished in fifth, you're automatically in. Even if you're the Robinsons that beat everyone fair and square, did the best, you were voted, you won racing skills, all that. You know what? They making our failed drivers look like shit. Put them in the last chance qualifier. We need 5 gravediggers.
And there's a way to fix that. Uh, 14 top trucks that make it in, like the top 14 in either of them, like that's 28 trucks in total, automatically put them in the world finals, except for one. Whoops. And that's for the stadium spot, and that's for the LCQ. Put the put the Jesus Christ, I'm getting lost.
It's all good. Take your time.
It's just hard to explain. That's why I haven't made a video about it until I'm working on it now. But the top four that don't make it into the World Finals automatically in both the Arena and Stadium Series will automatically get put into the LCQ. And then whoever wins that, then they will go to the World Finals. That's what I meant to say.
I
It
think the
was just hard to
LCQ,
get out.
it's all good. I think the LCQ should be upgraded to two people who fight and struggle through the field. You know, if you have to make the field 32 trucks, make it 32 trucks. But stop making it a failed competition for the most part in World Finals, man. We need more independence and we need more people who are deserving. And it's just like if you're not going to do anything with the drivers currently in the main field or last chance qualifier, give them an encore because there's a lot of people in the World Finals 10 encore that weren't competing but was given the chance to fluff their wings, fly a few times, give us an encore. And to me, it's just there. If you're not going to be in the main field, do something with them. Don't just have them there to just be there, sign autographs for the casual and the failed bots. You know, just let them do something. And I appreciate 9-1 where everyone is just coming out to the field. That was majestical. That was peak. That was 10 out of 10. But then night two, we had Tyler Mango just flip over and all right, guys, show's over. Get the fuck out. You know, it's just that you guys got so many trucks there to be doing stuff with. Like, do something, encore, give us more independents or people who weren't really given a chance for main field to be in the main. I don't know, man. There's just so many things you could do with the World Finals, and it's just to me they're just not doing what is in the best interest of actual fans. And I get it. They're catering to casuals. I get it. But one of my last questions to you is, what do you think the future of Monster Jam is?
Holy.
Because I know, let me add some more. I know you said that we're entering another dark age, and to me, I've been felt like we've been in dark ages. It's just nobody wants to hear it bashed over their head. Because you said you were going to be around forever, I'm going to be around forever, and just because we have hot take opinions doesn't mean, oh, I got a hot take. I fucking hate this shit. No, we hate some of the things, but we love guys. If you're not understanding this, we love monster trucks, We love monster trucks. We love the Andersons. We love Tristan England, okay, guys? And we're not just saying these things because we hate the shit. We're saying these things because we know it could be better. So my bad for cutting you off, Mr. ArenaPod. But what is the future of Monster Jam and why do you think that?
The future, it's kind of gray, but I think we're going into another dark age. Look, and that's all because of like the shoebox, like those little mufflers they're testing out in Arena is fucking stupid. Yeah, monster trucks are meant to be loud, and they're putting mufflers on it, and it makes it sound like a Beam and G truck. I'm not kidding. Look it up. Listen to it. It sounds horrible. And I can't confirm if like they're running it next season. In just arenas, I understand because if you want to keep it quiet, then fine. But if they actually like put that in arena, not arena stadiums, whoops. Yeah, that's not going to be good. That ain't going to be good because again, arenas, I understand it's a small confined space. You don't want too much noise and stadiums, they're meant to be loud. Like monster trucks are meant to be loud. And if you put the stupid shoebox muffler in the stadiums, I don't know. It's just not a good look, bro. Like they're trying to quiet down the trucks and it sounds horrible. That's all I gotta say. The only way that I see myself leaving the sport is if they make the whole thing electric.
I'd be out at that point too. if they made the trucks electric, because me personally, trucks are supposed to be loud, and you have people be like, someone was arguing with me on Discord talking about there was lawsuits involved with Monster Jam about the noise being loud and hearing loss. I'm just like, get the fuck out of here with that BS, bro. Like he was telling me, yeah, the remnants, the stuff, the files for that case is in my drawer because my dad was on that jury trial. I'm just like, bro, I could be wrong in some Discord conversations and stuff, but I'm not gonna lie to you and say I have stuff I don't have. Like, dude, Bigfoot, I don't know if you've seen the video, but Bigfoot does have an EV truck, but this came out years ago. That they had an open house where they demonstrated one of their EV trucks. Quiet, you know? All you hear is them crushing the cars. The moment they even announce the shit, I'm gone. I'm leaving. No, don't even. I don't. Y'all can pay me $100 per show. I'm not gonna go. If I want to hear a EV, I'll go to the highway and see a few Teslas and Mustang E's drive down the street. But my last question to you is this: what is something from old school Monster Jam you would like to see back make a return, and why?
Aside from crush cars, uh, I would bring back like the color tracks. And the reason why is even though the track designs are they're pretty okay. Like they're simplistic, I like it. And I like the older ones more with more variety and color. Like I like that more. Even though it's not a massive change, like it won't affect whether me liking the sport or not. I prefer those because they are creative and it would be nice to see like a different design every week. Like that kind of adds like another element of excitement. And I just wish I could bring that back because the track's looking the same now. It gets kind of old, even though I do kind of like it, but it gets old really quickly, bro. Like every single arena show is now red, which I ain't complaining, but it gets repetitive really fast. And the ArenaPod, I'll say it now. I am ArenaPod, but the track itself, nah, it's fine. I just don't want it the same thing every show. Like a track they had in Chile one time, it wasn't an ArenaPod. I think it was Chicago style. It just had two ramps on either side, and that was it. They didn't have an ArenaPod. And I just wish she had that every other show. Like, just kind of mix it up a bit. Different tracks, different designs. That's what I would bring back.
I agree with you, everything you just said. I do believe that the older trucks, not trucks, but tracks are beautiful. They're crazy. They offer something different. Like when you walk into the stadium, walk into the arena, look at that. Oh, look at those colors, vibrant, beautiful, pretty. And now you have the same red and gray or blue and gray. And it's just that it's so like the golden era was when most people ran into the sport in 2007. Those tracks were vibrant. Even the ones from the early 2000s are vibrant and colorful. And I think it was World Finals. Like I said, I could be wrong. I think it was World Finals 13, 12, or 14, where it was the last year of colored, colored tracks. And now and it said specifically more than two colors because now we get the same shit. And it's just that I asked the question on Reddit that are you guys not are you guys still entertained even if it means that this right here is the same every it was a picture of Camping World Stadium where the step up in the middle was removed. And I'm just like, this track looks boring as shit. And there are some customers I'm just like, you guys paid for nothing. You guys paid for over compensating slot because Monster Jam is supposed to be the definitive top dog. And when they making mistakes, it shows. But not only are they making mistakes, they're just like, yep, it is what it is. We shouldn't be here to begin with. Monster Jam should be doing what they need to do. And if not, Listen to the fans. Listen to people who's been around for a long time. Stop always trying to cater to the casuals. And I don't mind that they cater to the casuals because they keep them in business. But at least people like me, like you, like TF, just like, we're probably growing out of it. And there's nothing wrong with growing out of it. And at the same time, there's nothing wrong with being honest about it. And if you don't like what you hear, it doesn't mean they're straight hating. Just learn to accept different perspectives, have a conversation, engage, talk. And unfortunately, we're at a position in Monster Gym where we're wishing that things make a return and we're wishing that things were slightly different than they used to be. Because the tracks this year to me, St. Louis is cool. St. Louis, oh, not St. Louis style, but Chicago style is cool. But for the most part, every other track has been just a hit and miss. And the tracks were already not really a decision in why I want to leave Monster Jam. Like I'll probably stop making content because my biggest reason was the views, the view wise. I'm just like I'm not getting as much views anymore. Maybe everyone's tired of the critical creeper. I get it, but I don't want to make videos where people are like, I like the critical creeper. I want you to understand where I'm coming from, and from there, appreciate it, dislike it, hate it. But just know I'm not coming at it from I hate Monster Jam. You should hate it too. I've never said that in any of my videos. I just want more YouTubers to be honest about the sport we all love and grew up with, whether it be making their track changes or getting rid of the shoebox, not getting rid of it, but putting on shoe boxes. This is what this channel's about, conversation. And that's why I do all these interviews where I'm interviewing people like Mr. Douglas here or Monster Truck Lord or who's ready for Monster Jam, and pretty soon it's gonna be Angel from Chaos to the Max. And I guess with all the recent events going on with his life, it's gonna be an interesting interview with him when this whole drama that started on the discourse not too long ago.
Yeah. Like literally you came out of nowhere. Like actually. You literally came out of nowhere and like you literally grabbed the community by the balls, bro. Like literally everyone was talking about you. I couldn't go into any server without someone mentioning your name and your videos. And again, I was smirking from a distance because I wanted to say this shit. I wanted to, and I never got the courage to until just now, bro. Like, I'm glad that more issues are coming to light. Like, people are really looking at this. Like, this sport is flawed. We still love it, but it's flawed and we could improve it. So that's why I say, get me in the CEO spot right the fuck now. I'll fix this shit up. Get me in there now.
I'll fix this shit up right now, Phil. There's this guy named Monster Jam George. He was someone I ran into. Backyard Jam was someone I ran into where they're being so there's a difference between your opinion and saying what people want to hear. And there's more people as time goes on. Maybe I'm responsible for that. I don't know. I'm not going to take credit for that, but there are YouTubers who've been around for a while actually saying what they want to say. Um, Check out Monster Jam George, check out Backyard Jam, because I was watching their videos. I'm like, wow, they're actually saying some. Who's ready for Monster Jam, Michael. If you're watching this, shout out to you. But it's great to see more people just be open about the sport instead of saying things that people want to hear. You know, it's not that we're not coming from a place of malicious intent. We're coming from a place of love. We're not putting in all this effort to make videos to be like, guys, look what I just did. What do you just do, Critical Creeper? I just shit it on fail. Take that, motherfucker. It's like we're not coming at it from that. We're coming at it like, you know what? I remember when this sport was gritty. I remember when this sport was insane. And this is how I feel. And I'm trying to work on my content and make it more friendlier for people to be like, you know what? There's some people who commented recently on my YouTube channel saying that this is how you do YouTube content about Monster Jam, where you're opinionated, but you're not just coming straight out and saying, oh, this shit fucking sucks. It's great to see people like that coming back slowly to my content and be like, you know what, Critical Creeper, I like the new you. I like what you're doing now. Even though my views are lower, I'm learning to just be straightforward, give you my thoughts and my opinion, and not just overtly saying that, you know what, fuck this shit. This shit sucks. That's not how I feel. And I've never ever said that in any of my videos. And I don't get why people get the idea of that, oh, you're just a hater. I'm not a hater. But I want to thank you and TF, people like, people such as yourself, giving me a chance, talking to me, understanding how I feel. Because a lot of people just hear some shit and be like, you know what? Fuck this dude. And there's only like there's less people than the amount of fingers on my hand of people who gave me a chance or defended me. And I want to thank you guys all. I want to thank you, Mister, for at least coming on here. And we talked off screen, we talked off the video of you just getting to know me. Like, oh, you know what? You're not that bad of a dude. Maybe I misunderstood you, or maybe I kind of heard whatever people were saying about you, and I kind of believed it. I'm not saying you did or you didn't, but I just feel like we're in a time and day and age where if you feel someone is feeling some type of way and they're not some type of celebrity, approach them, talk to them, get to know what they think, and you'll be like, you know what? Maybe he doesn't dislike Monster. Maybe he loves it. Yeah, no shit, But I guess I said some things that were pretty offensive to some, and they were like, you know what? I'm gonna block the critical creeper, and it's just that I'm sorry that I'm not saying. I envision myself as someone who says what people need to hear versus things they want to hear, and I say these things because it's okay. I'm gonna say this real quick to the camera, guys. Real shit, It's okay if you like modern Monster Jam. It's okay if you like old school Monster Jam. I don't care what the fuck you like. At the end of the day, we all still here, but objectively speaking, old school did some things better and new school did some things better. It's subjective. You know, I'll be making a video in the near future, if you watch me, the deeper dive, where I'm gonna look at both events or both time periods as what makes them good and what makes them great and why people say the things they say. I will maintain the opinion though that old school is better, but I'm not saying that because, oh yeah, Crush Cars, there was more passion in the shit.
hmm
There was more
And
passion, and that's all it takes to make a show great and amazing. And yeah, it's cool to see that the truck's doing what they're doing, but remove the Crush Cars, you know, there's still so much going for old school that isn't talked about. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Camera, come here, come here, come here, come here, come here, man. Just because we say that, there's still things about modern that modern did way better than old school. And you guys will find out more about that in my video in the near future. So yeah, that's
either
all I
way,
gotta
we
say.
all just want to see the sport grow. I think that's the main thing at the end of the day. Like we just want the sport to grow and get back to the glory days. Maybe not. That ship has long since sailed, but we can still try to get it back over there. And that's all that we really want, just for it to be great again. It's still great, don't get me wrong. Just in terms of like older Monster Jam, it kind of can't compare. That could be nostalgia doing its thing, but eh, it
It's
can be better sometimes.
it's not nostalgia, brother. Like there's a thumbnail I saw on the. Sorry to cut you off, but there was a video.
Now you're good.
Thumbnail. There's a video thumbnail I saw, and in the thumbnail it said, "It's not nostalgia if it was honestly better." And I say this because, oh, it's just nostalgia talk. Like WWE, for example, their set pieces for their pay-per-views or their house shows had more thought put into them back in the early to late 90s and early 2000s compared to now. Nowadays, you go to a WWE show, it's just one big giant jumbotron. Versus going to SmackDown and there was a random giant big ass fist in the air sticking up, you know, or the set pieces for SummerSlam or the set pieces for WrestleMania. They're not as good as they used to be. And just because people say that, it doesn't take away the current entertainment value that the company you're watching currently, it doesn't mean it takes it away from that.
Yeah.
Two things can be true, and just because people say old school is better, it doesn't mean new school is shit. And if people say new school is better, it doesn't mean the old school is shit. Conversate, find the middle ground, take the best of both worlds, and have a conversation about that.
Yeah, it's kind of a toss up between old school and new school. I love them both equally. New school, it can definitely be shit at times, but same with old school Monster Jam. Like, uh did I like the fact that Tom Meents like won every single World Finals championship in the first years? I already know the answer because I knew a few fans that were around at that time, and I'll say it. Fuck no, they didn't. That might be because of WCW being around, probably people thinking it's rigged, but there were some elements that wasn't particularly liked by other people in old school Monster Jam. That's the same with over here, like in new school. Like there's a couple stuff over here today that we don't exactly like, but maybe down the road people will have nostalgia about, and the cycle is going to continue. That's what I think. That's what I think the fan base is going to be like. The goalpost is always moving, bro.
I agree. And that's what keeps, for the most part, the conversation going, thriving. That the constant issues, the constant debates, the constant conversations where we're always comparing. That's one of the things that I would even say one of the things, one of the most major things, because that conversation is going to be around long after we die, and that's okay. And just because you're on either side, as long as you're able to see where someone's coming from, you can see their point of view. And if even if you don't agree with them, at least you saw their point of view instead of just being like, "Oh, the critical creeper. I just hate the dude. I hate him." And I get why people do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not oblivious to it. But it's just that even if, but beyond the message, is there things that I'm saying that is unfactually not true? Like there are things I agree with and there are things I get wrong. I'm a human being and I don't mind making videos of me correcting myself as I already have. And I think people should just be able to just conversate about why we feel the way we feel without being persecuted, being told it's just for kids or, you just grew up. There's just so many things that allow us not to have conversations that we get more polarized than we need to be instead of just being there for your neighbor, your coworkers, whatever medium of entertainment you're in, on why you like the things you like and why they can be better. It doesn't make you any less of a fan.
Yeah.
Fans discuss things all the time, and that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I literally named myself after a shit track, so
A shit track. What do you mean?
ArenaPod. It's kind of shit.
I don't think arena pods are shit. I think they've been around for so long that a lot of people think they're shit. If anything, if you compare that to the Thunder Nationals, because Hot Wheels is basically Thunder Nationals for kids, PG. But even then, I feel like Thunder Nationals to Monster Jam isn't as good as arenas today because yeah, arenas probably have lower entertainment value because of skills and that the track is made with skills in mind, and a lot of stadium tracks are made with skills in mind. But I feel like you get your money's worth to see some capabilities of these Monster Jam machines doing what they can do in confined spaces versus Thunder Nationals, which is all right, green light, jump over ramp. All right, who won the race? That's boring. Versus a arena pod that has 6 to 8 different angles you can hit it from, do something different. I can understand why some love it and some hate it. So that's just my opinion on it.
Really depends what you look for, honestly. Like backflips, that's the ArenaPod. Crush cars, if you just care solely about that, then yeah, Thunder Nationals or go to Hot Wheels. Won't recommend Hot Wheels though. I've been there twice, and yeah, it's definitely not for me, bro. Not for me. They cater to such young children. I learned that the hard way.
I watched one of their shows on YouTube. I'm just like, yeah, hell no. And even on their best years, I don't think they'll ever surpass Monster Jam with how much they lean into the kid stuff. And not only that, but it's just I forgot what I was saying. I ain't gonna lie. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Sorry, my mic didn't work. Uh, we were talking about the ArenaPod, right?
Oh yeah, so it's just that the arena pod to me is a lot better than the majority besides stadium. And arena pod, you're just gonna see things at the arena that you won't see at an old school Monster Jam event, which is Thunder Nationals, because Hot Wheels does it, but it's kidified. And then you have other independent promotions that would be like, you know what, let's do straight line racing, or let's do arena style racing, or maybe let's just do like good old Chicago style. It depends on what promoter you go to. But if you don't give independence a chance, at least the arena pod is good for what it is, and it's, in my opinion, objectively better than Thunder Nationals. And to some, they're going to hear that and be like, I can't believe you just said that.
Completely up to what you personally want to see in a show.
I agree.
But even then, they had crush cars off to the side with that stupid ArenaPod track, so they got rid of that, and that was a pretty dumb move. And they moved to boxes for racing as the turning poles.
I wasn't around, but I did see like pictures from Tim Horn of the boxes and the little inflatable turning poles. But is there any last thing you want to say before we end the podcast, good sir?
Yeah, quite a few actually.
Let's hear
Well,
it.
I just wanted to say thanks for having me on. Like, don't want to get too sentimental, but for me to even be invited like so early on, like episode three, like along with the greats like Reagan, Michael, like I used to watch Michael back in 2017 when he did commentaries. To even like be considered so early on to be on this show, like that means a lot to me, bro. Thank you so much, dude.
You're welcome. I just want to just interview people who are like-minded, people who are in the community, and I think that this series gives people a chance to explore how your favorite content creators really think and feel. And, I think that's a net positive. I know they don't get much views. I never really anticipated this series getting much views to begin with. They're just for people who are actual diehards who can come in and have a high retention rate longer than TikTok, rot brain. Um, and some of the conversations I had on here are amazing. Some of them are good, some of them are cool, and I still got much more to do. And hopefully, in the near future, since I'm gonna speed through these interviews more often than not, um, to do a hot take show where everyone's on here and we're all talking about hot takes. That's what Michael said. Like maybe we should do a hot take show. And I got other people I would like to interview that are like-minded, like maybe Backyard Jam or Monster Jam George. These are people who aren't afraid to interject their own opinion, regardless of how others feel, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate you giving me a chance, and I'm glad you were able to come on the show and re-record and just talk. That TF Motorsports video gave me more hopes because it's like, oh, here's ArenaPod not giving the safest takes. He's being more honest, and maybe there's a lot of things that happened recently that made him feel the way he feels. And that's what this show is about, conversations of where you fell in love with the sport, how you feel about it currently, and what the future is. So I want to thank you for your time, and I appreciate you coming on here and giving the people what they want to hear and an insight of who you are as a Monster Jam fan.
Mahalo, bro. Thank you so much for having me on.
You are
It means
welcome.
more than you think, actually, because I only started making an effort recently. I only started actually putting work into content recently. That's what I meant. And to even be up there with the greats like Moss Jam Lord and Who's Ready for Monster Jam, that means a lot. Thank you so much, dude.
Hey man, you're gonna make me cry over here, dude. And I say that because, like we consider people like that the greats, and I get why. But at the end of the day, we're all just human and we're all enjoying the sport we love. And I'm glad they were able to come on the show. And I'm glad you could see yourself as on the Mount Rushmore to say of YouTube content. And I'm glad I can make you feel the way you feel. And that's what it's about. Honesty, realness, and getting you to feel some things about the sport we all love and grew up with, without feeling bad about it to begin with.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we all just want this sport to grow, as I said earlier. That's all we want. And yeah, my stream does have flaws, but it's easily fixable if Feld starts giving a shit.
Don't remind me,
But
man.
we'll see in the near future if they actually do.
I think they probably won't, but at the end of the day, we're still going to be here. I'm not going anywhere, but maybe my content in the near future will. But at the end of the day, we're all fans, and we shouldn't be picking on each other or labeling each other. Like, come on, guys. We're all here to love and enjoy the sport we all grew up with. And I want to thank you for your time, Mr. Douglas Morgan, aka ArenaPod. Check him out on YouTube, link in the description. He's up there with the greats. He gave a few interviews, guys. So please, you know, maybe comment on his channel if you would love to. That Critical Keeper sent you guys this way. And Mr. Douglas Morgan, I appreciate you and your time, Mister.
Mahalo, bro. Thank you so much.
You have a good one, Mister.